Close the doors of your mind from all carnal will, all carnal thought, all emotions, all desires, all fears, all laziness, all doubt. Anything in the center of your mind, within your cranial nerves, within your 12 million centers, within your hands and your feet, that control the rest of your body, within your organs, within your emotions. It doesn't allow your body and your mind and your thoughts and your vision of your inner man, vision between your inner man, to come to balance within oneself. For today is the day of freedom. Today is the day of warning. Today is the day of Qahalath. Today is the day of warning. Today is the day that Yahuwah has given to us as a gift. For we should not all be here. But he has extended his hand to us, allow us to have life within ourselves, within our heart and our mind, that we no longer live out the rest of our days according to the will of our basar, our flesh, but according to the ruach, and to produce the fruits of the ruach within ourselves continually, that his enlightenment and his thoughts and his mind and his inner man and your inner man may reflect the very image and likeness of Yahuwah Elohim. So this Yom, we acknowledge the one who made all the har of the earth, all in the har of the earth, all the rivers and streams and the shimmering light that flows on top of the water at noon. The one who gives life and understanding to all creatures of the earth and the fishes of the yam, the sea. The one who gives all life and understanding and intelligence to all insectoids and all human beings on the earth, whether good or evil. The one who sends his shadim and his demons, his princes of the underworld against those who are the children of disobedience. And the ones who send his malaki to rescue those who are in trouble and who are in need of help. Yahuwah Elohim, with his Ben Yahusha, who sits at his right hand in the highest Shamayim, above the seven heavens, above the Shabbat Ish Samarim, above the seven channels, above the seven celestial circles, who sits above all and gives us life and understanding within ourselves. So this Yom, as we move forward in love, in Ahab, Simcha, Shalom, Arak, Kasad, Ta'ub, Amuna, Anua, and we move forward in self-control. We move forward in self-control within ourselves, self-control in our thoughts, self-control in who we are. That our lamp and our near and our manure may continually burn within ourselves, that we may walk in newness of life continually. So as we move forward in this 364-day cycle, as we inside of this 6th month, we remember when Yahuwah made man in his own image and likeness. So this is the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 1, verse 24. Bereshit, Genesis chapter 1, is the ESV, verse 24. Bereshit chapter 1, verse 24. And Yahuwah Elohim said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kind. So he said, let the earth, the alat that we live on, he said, let it bring forth every living creature after its kind. Livestock, that's the behemoth, creeping things, and the beasts of the earth according to their kinds. When are all these things? And it was so. When you start looking at the earth and you look at everything that you see around you, when you start seeing all of the animals and the creatures, majority of the time you will see them out in the summertime in Queens. And guess what happens? And it was so. And Elohim made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kinds. And Elohim saw that it was ta'ub. He saw that it was great. It was good. It was ta'ub. It was good. Guess what? And guess what that is? That's goodness. The fruits of the Ruach. I mean, it was all good. Yahuwah operating in the fruits of the Ruach right here when he made all these things. And he says, and then Elohim said, let us make Adam. After he did all that, he said, you know what? Being that I'm operating in the fruits of the Ruach, let me make something. And Elohim said, let us make Atzah Adam in our image and likeness, Damu Salim, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds, the oath of the Shamayim, over the behemoth, the livestock, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, the Ramees. So Yahuwah said, I'm going to make man in my own image and in my own likeness. I'm operating in the fruits of the Ruach, so I'm going to create something after my image and likeness. So when Yahuwah made Adam and Ka'ur, he made them after his image and likeness based upon the fruits of the Ruach. Because he breathed into man's nostrils and the Neshama, and he breathed into them and gave them a living being and a living life and a living soul within himself. He made you in his fruits and Ruach, fruits of the Ruach. The same thing when it comes to a man who creates a child into the world. Why would you have intercourse or create a child into the world if you're not operating in the fruits of the Ruach? Why would you create something that's not in your image and likeness, in the image and likeness of the Yahuwah and the Aydahchay Shamayim? The only thing you're going to create is a bunch of chaos. But it says right here, and it says that creeps on the earth. So Elohim created man, Adam, in his own image. In the image of Elohim, he created him, male and female. He created them. And Elohim baraked them. So he created both of them. He said both male and female, the Qahalath. I said we spoke about it many times, the Qahalath. Male child, male animal, female. He made children in his own image and likeness after he was operating in the fruits of the Ruach. Right? So this is the recognitions of Clement. No, you don't have this book, but this is the recognition of Clement, the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, the recognition of Clement. The recognitions of Clement. The recognitions of Clement. This is the recognitions of Clement. Let me find where we're going. So this is the recognitions of Clement. And we're going to this is the recognition of Clement, page 135, book chapter 2, book 5. Page 135. It says the sufferings of the effects of sin. And it says chapter 2, and it says right here, and Elohim, the creator of all, at the beginning made Adam, man, after his own image, and gave him dominion over the earth, and the sea, and over the air, as the Nabi Ahmad hath told us. He's talking about Yahushua Mashiach. And it says right here, has told us, and as the very reason of things instructs us. For man alone is rational, and it is fitting that reason should rule over the irrational. At first, therefore, while he was still righteous, he was superior to all disorders and all frailty. So you look at our bodies, we look at our inner man, we look at our inner thoughts, we look at our inner frailty, we look at our disorders and all the things that's inside of our body. He says, why? And it says right here, but when he sinned, as we taught you yesterday, and became the servant of sin, he became at the same time liable to frailty. So we look at our human frailty, we look at all the things we do. Adultery, fornication, lying, robbery, slander, all the things that works of the flesh that don't allow us to get the fruits of the Ruach. That wars against the fruits of the Ruach. And guess what it does? It brings our body to frailty. And guess what happens? Thus, therefore, it is written that man, Adam, may know that as by disobedience they have become made liable to suffer. People saying, why do you suffer? Why everybody suffering today? So, man, why I suffer with back pain? Why I suffer with neck pain, shoulder pain? Why I can't seem to get my mental faculties correct? Why can't things be aligned in the proper order? Why can't I get things in order? Why can't I fix myself? Because of disobedience. Right? And it says right here, and you suffer for it. So by obedience, they may be able to may be made free from suffering. That's why he said today is the day of freedom. He said by obedience you'll be free from suffering. We talked about he'll reward you by how much righteousness you have in your hands, by the cleanness of your hands. And guess what it says? And not only free from suffering, but by even a little belief in Yahuwah Elohim, be able to cure the sufferings of others. He said, just by a little bit. He said, man, you have the moon in the face of a grain of a mustard seed. You shall say to this mountain, be thou removed and be cast into the sea. He said, just even a little bit. Just a small smidgen. And it says right here, for thus the Nabi Ahmad promised us, saying, Amen, I say to you, that if you have amuna as the grain of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, remove hence, and it will remove. Of this saving you have yourselves also had proofs, for you saw yesterday how at our presence the demons removed and were put to flight with those sufferings that they had brought upon men. Right, so you look at being made in the fruits in the Ruach, you think about being made in his image and likeness, but then you see being disobedient to Yahuwah's commandments and the things that he commanded, and the things that he commanded, guess what happens? It brings suffering, it brings all types of disorders in your body. Right, so this is the book of 3rd John. 3rd John. This is the book of 3rd John. 3 John chapter 1, say Shalishi Yaukanan chapter 1 and 1. 3 John chapter 1 verse 1. It says, the elders to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. Ahal, beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul. So the same thing, that word for soul, when we go back to the beginning, is nephash. And man became a living soul. Because when he made Adam, he made him perfect. He was with the fruit, he was operating in his image and likeness, he was in the fruits of the Ruach, and guess what happened? He breathed into his nostrils, and he became a living soul, and he was free from all suffering and all disorders in his body. Right, so this is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, chapter, I think it's 103. Yeah, 103 and 1. Tahalim 103 and 1. Psalms 103 and 1. Psalms Tahalim 103 and 1. It says, Barak Yahuwah, O my soul, and all that is within me, Barak his Kudash name. He said, with all my nephash, may you be in good health even as your soul prospers. He said, Barak Yahuwah, O my soul, which means your soul baraks. And guess what it says? Barak his Kudash name, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. What do you mean all his benefits? What benefits it is to Barak Yahuwah with all your soul and might? Who forgives all your iniquity, which means you be free from all suffering and disorderly in your body, who heals all your diseases. All. What part of all people don't understand? He said, if you have a moon or grain of a mustard seed, you shall say this mountain, be thou removed, be cast into the sea. He said, all your diseases. Who redeems your life from the pit, from Sheol, from hell, from going down into the lowest parts of the earth, in the other world, in the other realm, if he takes you from this life and sends you to the spirit world. He said, I'm going to come get you out of there. And get what it says. Who crowns you with steadfast love. Fruits of the Ruach. That's the first one. Who crowns you. That's the first thing Shaul talked about. Matter of fact, let's go to Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 19. Galatia chapter 5 verse 9. Now the works of the flesh are evident. These are all the things that are going to bring your body to suffering and what? To disorderly in your body. And he said, if you don't repent of it, then guess what? You'll continue to suffer within your mind and within your thoughts and within yourself. And it says, now the works of the flesh, the basar, are evident. Sexual morality, adultery, fornication, sleeping around, going from bed to bed, jumping in and out of bed, don't have no control of your body. Impurity, right? That's all types of uncleanness. Sensuality, sensual words, that's seductive speech. Idolatry, that's idol worship. We know what this stuff is. Sorcery, enmity, strife. That's one thing people can't stop. Strife and jealousy. That's the one thing that leads to a lot of this. Strife and jealousy. This brings suffering. Fits of anger, that brings suffering to your body and disorders. Anger and emotions affect your organs, to your liver and your kidneys. It affects your inner man. It'll make your heart blood vessels burst. It'll make your white blood cells diminish. Fits of anger, rivalries that going back and forth over and over again, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, text messages, email, it don't matter. Same thing. Rivalries, dissension, right? Divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and such like these, I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of Malkuth of Elohim. You won't have any peace. You will have all suffering and disorders in your body. We're not talking about when Satan all come at you. These are all being self-inflicted wounds. Self-inflicted. People say, I never cut myself. I never cut my wrist. I never put markings on my back to Baal like the prophets of Baal did. I never did that. Yes, you have if you've done this. You do it every single day if you don't repent. Right? And it says right here, I warn you, as I warned before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. But the fruits of the Ruach, here we go, is love. Who crowns you with steadfast love? Ahal. Ahal. Fikiri amor ahambu. He crowns you with steadfast love. He said, that's the crown. He said, yeah. That's the crown of steadfast love. That's the crown, the keter, the kathar. He crowns you with steadfast love, peace, shalom, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such, there is no law. You can't condemn me. You can't condemn me for forgiving somebody. You can't condemn me for extending my hand and forgiving people, forgiving man, woman, or child, or mother, father, sister, brother, spiritual father, spiritual mother, what people want to call themselves. You can't condemn somebody for doing this. If you are trying to condemn somebody for doing this and you can't accept it, it's something wrong with your mind. And it says, self-control, for against such there is no Torah, no law. And those who belong to Mashiach have crucified their flesh with its passions and desires. If we live by the Ruach, let us keep in step with the Ruach. Why? Because the Ruach made man in his own image after the fruits of the Ruach. He said, let us make man. Adam. He was made in the image and likeness. And let us not become conceited, provoking one another and envying one another. Provoking, because you can provoke a man to commit adultery. You can provoke a woman to commit adultery. You can provoke your daughter to commit fornication. You can provoke your son to go commit fornication. You can provoke somebody to have envy and jealousy. You can provoke your son or your daughter, your mother, your father. You can provoke somebody to go have rivalries and dissension. You can provoke somebody to do these things. You can. All you do is flinch at them. They'll do it. And guess what? You provoke them. And guess who is responsible? You. It says provoking one another and envying one another. Right? Going back to Psalms 103. Tahalim, Psalms 103. Psalms 103 and 1. Let's get over it. Right? Psalms 103 and 1. It says, Barak Yahuwah, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquity, who heals all your diseases. People say, I want to be healed. I want to be healed from all my diseases, all my mental diseases, all my dementia. I want to be healed from all the things that affect my mind. I want to be healed from all of my sexually transmitted diseases and everything that I committed in my life. I want to be healed from all my diseases. I want to be healed from my issues of blood. I want to be healed from all the things that I've done. We just talked about, because of disobedience, that's why you have it. It's your suffering. Your body is in disorder. It's in disarray. You need to rebalance your life, rebalance your body, rebalance your pH levels inside of your body, rebalance the pH water inside of your body. You need to balance the pH within your mind by the bar. He said, as rain and snow come down from Shamayim, so does the bar be that goes out of my mouth, the word. It will not come back to me void. It shall accomplish what it's sent to do. And it says right here, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy. And mercy. He crowns you with steadfast love and mercy. And mercy. Right, so this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3, verse 1. Colossians chapter 3, verse 1. It says, if you then have been raised with Mashiach, Yahusha, or what they call Christ, seek those things which are above, where Mashiach is seated at the right hand of Yahuwah. What's that in his right hand? He said, he who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, the Shabai Kukah. He who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, who holds the sparks in his right hand. And it says right here, set your mind, your makashaba, your yetzer, your imaginations, and your thoughts on things that are above, and not on things on the earth. Why? Because the 7 heavens are above. There's nothing that's made from below. Everything's from above. Not on things on the earth. Adat. When he talks about not on things on the earth, we're talking about earthly behaviors, human-like behaviors. Earthly behaviors are the works of the flesh. For you have died, your flesh have died, you crucified the flesh, and your life is hidden in Mashiach Yahuwah, Elohim. When Mashiach, who is your life, because we said, what do you mean he is my life? When Adam was created, He said, your name shouldn't, he said, I'm going to call you Qahalath, for you the mother of all living. Why would he say that? He said, who is your life? Mashiach, who is your life? Why? Because Adam's name means what? Aleph Dam Mim. Strength in the blood. Why? Because we know why we don't eat blood. Because there's life in the blood. Because there's life in the blood. Yahushua said, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Because he is your life. Because there's life in the blood. And when your blood is corrupted, you have all types of diseases in your blood. You have all types of disorders and suffering in your blood. And when you have an intercourse with a child, or you create a baby or a child, that blood is passed down to the children, and guess what you get? More of the same type of blood seed that's created. Nothing different. You're creating something after you're coming. Right? I know that's neat. But it says right here, when Mashiach, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in Kabod. Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you. See, these are the things that you got to edit out of your DNA, out of your bloodstream. Out of your bloodstream, because it's in your bloodstream. You may not think it's not in your bloodstream. It is in your bloodstream. Sexual morality. These are all the things that's in your bloodstream. Impurity. Passions, evil desires, covetousness, which is idolatry. Covetousness. That's covetousness for other people's wives, men servants, maid servants, ox, donkey, as Exodus chapter 20 says. Men servant, maid servant, house, it doesn't matter. Tesla, cryptocurrency, stocks, portfolios, career, professional careers. Right, you gotta, there's more stuff to it now. If you got jealousy and envy, to somebody's Instagram account, how many followers he got, how wise he is, these are all covetous. I'm gonna take him out so I'm gonna take him or her out so I can have it. Covetous for somebody's daughter daughter that you're not even married to. And it says right here, covetous, which is idolatry, on account of these, the wrath of Yahuwah is coming. He said, in these you too once walked when you were living in them, but now you must put them all away. Now you say, why? Because it's in your bloodstream. It's going to create suffering and disorders in your body. Anger, give you high blood pressure, clog up your arteries, give you a heart attack. Not allow your body, the blood to flow evenly throughout your body. He say, destroy all your white blood cells as your immune system gets dysfunctional. All these are a part of your body. Your vision starts to get blurred. You start to get migraine headaches in your forehead. All these are a part of what? Anger. Wrath. Wrath make you kill somebody. Wrath to make you take somebody out. Wrath to make you pick up a whole car or jump in the middle of the street and ram your head into the window because somebody make you upset and your head be bleeding and you don't even care. And it says right here, malice. That's malicious words with the intent to harm somebody, purposely being negative, purposely saying something that may hurt that person to the heart. He said you got to put all that away. Why? Because it's going to cause disorders and sufferings in your body. It says slander. That's saying something about somebody that's going to ruin their reputation. Whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it doesn't matter. Daily Motion, Rumble, it don't matter. Whether it's on any of these platforms. Black Planet. Most people don't know about Black Planet. That was on social media. It doesn't matter. It says what? Slander and obscene talk from your mouth. That's all types of sexual talk, sexual slurs, all types of things that may cause somebody to fall. Obscene talk, crude joking. All these things are a part of your earthly nature, your flesh. It has nothing to do with the Ruach. So when you see people doing these things, it ain't got nothing to do with no Ruach. That's all the flesh. That's how you got to know the difference. You got to discern the spirit. You got to discern what you're looking at. Is it of the flesh or the Ruach? And it says right here, from your mouth, do not lie one to another, seeing you have put off the old self with its practices. Why? Because who's the father of all lies? Satan. You practice it. When you say practice makes perfect, it does make perfect. Practice makes perfect. We had this saying in sports. When I played football, they say perfect run. We start out every practice and every workout with it. We call it perfect run. Every single time. To ingrain it, we practice it every day. Why? Because it gets ingrained in your mind every single day. And by doing it, it allows one to take on a mentality, your mental faculties. It says, and having put off the old self, put on the new self, which is renewed in the knowledge after the image of its what? After the image. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. After the image of its creator. That's how he made Adam. And this is 6 months. The 7th day of the 6th month. It says, here there is no Greek, circumcised. It says what? Circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave, free, but Mashiach is all in all. Put on then as Yahuwah's chosen ones, Kudash and beloved and compassionate hearts. He said, I'm chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. You know how people say, many are called, but few are chosen. Are you chosen? Compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness. These are all things he's going to beautify the meek with salvation. He's going to beautify the humble with salvation. He said, why would I clothe a person with all these works of the flesh? I'm going to clothe you with a nice garment on. I'm going to put a nice dress on you. I'm going to put some nice clothes on you. No, inwardly you're full of the wickedness that's within yourself. So you clean the outside of the cup. You look good on the outside. Everything looks great, but on the inside. Compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, bearing with one another. And if anyone has a complaint against another, forgiving each other. As Yahuwah has forgiven you, you must forgive. You must forgive. This is Psalms 103. Psalms 103. Psalms 103 and 1. Psalms 103 and 1. Psalms 103 and 1. Go to verse 4. He who redeemed your life from the pit, because that's what he's going to do. He said, as Yahuwah's chosen ones, are you chosen? And guess what happens? Who crowns you with steadfast love, steadfast, I mean it doesn't stop. And then it says, in mercy. And he said, as Yahuwah has forgiven you, you must forgive. As Yahuwah has forgiven you. Because that's your crown. That is your keter. He said, has somebody stole your king crown? Your Malka crown? Because it looks like somebody done stole your crown. You let somebody take it from you. He said, you done stole the championship. And it says right here, who satisfies with good so that your mouth is renewed, your youth is renewed like the eagles. He said, just like the eagles. Man, he said you renewed just like the eagles. Just like the Narash of the world. Right? So this is the book of, actually verse 6. Yahuwah works righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed. He made known his ways to Mashar, his acts to the people of Yasharah. Yahuwah is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love. Why would he make somebody in his image and likeness who don't have love in their heart? I'm not. He said, why would I consider you in part of the Malkuth, the kingdom, and you don't got steadfast love in your heart? That's the first thing of the fruits of Ruach. I won't even continue. You're not even a candidate. He said, you're not even in the election ballot. And it says, he will not always chide, nor will he keep his anger forever. Why do you think he tells you to put away anger? He said, I can't keep anger forever. You're creating his image and likeness. He does not deal with us according to our sins, nor repay us according to our iniquities. For as high as the Shamayim are above the earth, so great is his steadfast love towards those who fear him. And people say, I'm in his image and likeness. You're in his image and likeness? Man, woman, child, you're going to be in his Malkuth? You're going to see him in Shalom? His steadfast love is higher than yours. Right? This is Yeshayahu chapter 55. Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 55. Isaiah chapter 55. Isaiah chapter 55. And 7. 55 and 6. It says, seek Yahuwah while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Isaiah 55 and 6. Let the wicked forsake his way. Why do you think he told us to put to death what is earthly in us? He said, why do these things have to come? Because the world will contaminate you. It's just like going inside of a house. If you don't clean it a long time, then guess what happens? You get dusty. You get spider webs. You get all types of things. And guess what happens? You forget. You mean, I forgot to do that. Exactly. You see what it looked like? And guess what it said? Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man or woman or child his thoughts. Because that's the main point. He said, what you thinking in your mind? Does this also offend you? And guess what it says? Let him return to Yahuwah, return, that he may have compassion on him. People saying, who crowns you with steadfast love? He said, even as Yahuwah showed compassion to you, you must forgive. And have compassion on him, and to our Elohim, he will abundantly pardon. Man, his thoughts way up higher than your thoughts. Yahuwah has steadfast love. It's higher than the earth. Yahuwah will abundantly pardon people who repent, people who stop doing evil, people who stop fornicating, people who stop sleeping around, people who stop enticing and doing sensuality, entice a man or woman. He said, man, Yahuwah will show you steadfast love. Because Yahuwah is a man. And he said, and he's a man of war too. Yahuwah Sabaoth. Shadim. And it says, for as the Shamayim are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. And my thoughts than your thoughts. He said, my thoughts than your thoughts. Your thoughts are, I ain't going to forgive you. I'm not going to show you steadfast love. I'm not going to show you mercy and compassion. I'm not going to put away my anger. I'm not going to put away my hatred, my malice. I'm not going to put it away. That's humans. Humans on earth think this way. I'm not going to remove these things from my heart and my mind. I'm not going to remove these things from my thoughts. I'm not going to remove these things from my flesh and my behavior. I'm not going to keep myself and hide myself away from things that are going to cause me to have the works of the flesh. I'm not going to do that. You need to do that. It's for your life. It's for your life. It's for your soul. It's for your who you are in his image and likeness. It's for you. And it says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are my ways your ways, declares Yahuwah. For as the heavens, the Shamayims, the 7 heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. So you want to be in the 7 kingdoms? You want to be in the Shamayim? You want to be in the high places? He's like, look at here. You on the earth. This past the Rakita. This past the firmament. So you want to get to the first heaven? You want to be in the first, second, sixth, all the 7? You want to be able to do some things up there? Guess what happened? He said, you're going to have to get rid of some stuff. You're going to. It says, he says, so are my ways and my thoughts than your thoughts. He says, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts from your thoughts. For as the rain and snow come down from Shamayim, so if you ain't no way in the world you can even actually be able to give rain and snow, or even be a conduit for him on the earth, if you can't even do that. A proper conduit, a proper person to do that. And he says, come down from Shamayim, and he says, for as rain and snow, Geshem and Shaleh, come down from Shamayim, and do not return there, but water the earth, making it abound, bring forth sprout, and giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so will my debar be that goes out of my mouth. It shall not return to me empty. It shall accomplish what I purpose, and shall succeed for which I sent it. Right. So this is the second Enoch, Hanuk, Pseudepigrapha, Old Testament, Volume 1, Old Testament Pseudepigrapha. Old Testament Pseudepigrapha, Second Enoch 48, Second Enoch 48, Shani Hanuk. It says the sun, so that he might travel along the 7 celestial circles, which are appointed 182 thrones, Right? Look at 182 thrones. We know 90, 91, 91. We know each 3 month cycle. We're in the second 3 month cycle, heading toward the first day of the 7th month. It's 182 thrones. We're on that 182 thrones, so we might descend to the shortest day. That's what we're on. And once more, 182 thrones might descend to the longest day, we just passed. He also has 2 great thrones, where he pauses, and he turns around in this direction and the other direction, higher than the lunar thrones. That's 364 days versus 354 days for the Yar, the moon. And guess what it says? For the mouth, skipping down, it says, and in this way the sun moves along all celestial circles. When he comes close to the earth, then the earth is merry and makes his fruit grow. Right, so we're in the summertime, and all those things we mentioned are growing. And some of those things are dead. And then some things start to spring up, and you start to notice it, and you be like, man, what happened? How did I get there? And then you have to retrace all the way back where it first came, and then you have to deal with it there. Because if you don't get to the root of it, then you guess what happens? You're gonna always have it next year. It's gonna still be there. You're like, man, where'd that come from? You're like, you see, that came about when you had those behaviors for these 2 weeks, and you were engaged in these acts and did these things, and therefore, if you're not doing those acts, then guess what happens? Then it goes erratic, and things start to happen crazy, and then things start to go all over the place. Or it's because of that seed that was sown in your head about 10 years ago that you never dealt with within yourself, and you had that plant, and it grew really big, and it's starting to really show now, and you can see it within yourself, and you're like, man, where is this coming from? It's because of that behavior that you had back then, and now it's starting to sprout a little flower on top of it. And you think it's beautiful for some reason, even though it's just full of anger and malice and envy and jealousy and strife. He's like, you got to get rid of that. That's the one thing. And guess what? Can't nobody tell you what it is. Only you know that. You know how people say, I want to show you what's inside of you. I want to put it. No, you know what's inside of you because everybody's dealing with something. Right? And it says right here, and this is the way the sun moves along all celestial circles. Why? Because he prepared a tent for the sun. Your body, your Ahal is for the sun. And your body has the sun. He said, till the day dawn, the day start rising in your heart. Once the days start to dawn inside of you, then guess what? You start to see everything inside of you. Because you couldn't see it before because you was in darkness. And it says right here, when he came close to the earth, when the earth is merry and makes his fruit grow. But when it goes away, the earth laments, right? That's what we're moving into now. We're getting close to it. It says, and the trees and all the fruits have no productivity. That's what you don't want to happen to you. Even though the sun may leave according to the natural world, you don't want the sun to leave what's inside of you. You want to continually have productivity for 12 months in a year. You don't want to stop. Why? Because if you stop, then guess what? You're not going to have no olives. You're not going to have no olive branches. You're not going to be producing no olive oil. And guess what happened? You know how they say olive oil? Amazingly, Papa had spinach. He ate spinach and he had a wife called Olive. And guess what happens? Your lamp going to stop burning. If you don't have the sun, you start to lose productivity. And you was like, why I lost productivity? Because you got rid of the sun. The sun. You got rid of the Yahushua Mashiach. Now you took him out of the equation. And it says right here, then the earth laments and the trees and all the fruits have no productivity. And all this is by measurement. And by the most precise measurements of ours, he had fixed it by measure, by his own wisdom. That is everything visible and invisible. From the invisible things and the visible things, he created all the visible things, but he himself is invisible. Right? So, look at all the productivity that one can have, but then he said, why would it all leave? But then you start to see why it'll leave. Right? So this is Psalms 19. Psalms 19 and 1. Psalms 19 and 1. Psalms 19 and 1. Get into this. This is Psalm 19 and 1. The heavens declare the kabod of Yahuwah. The heavens declare the kabod of Yahuwah, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. He said, why would he say that? Day after day he pours out his speech, and night after night he reveals his knowledge. So day after day he pours out his speech. That's the rain and snow that comes up from Shamayim. And night after night he reveals his knowledge, which means the lamp doesn't go out by night. Your lamp has not went out by night. Day after day, he pours out a speech. Right, so this is the book of Exodus, Shemuth, Exodus, chapter 40, verse 34. Shemuth, Exodus, chapter 40. Exodus, chapter 40, verse 34. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting. Why? Because he prepared a tent for the sun. And the kabod of Yahuwah filled the tabernacle. If it filled what? The Mishkan, the Mikdash, the tabernacle, the tent. The kabod of Yahuwah is light. And it says right here, it says, and Mashah was not able to enter the tent meeting because the cloud settled on it. And the kabod of Yahuwah filled the tabernacle throughout all their journeys. Whenever the cloud was taken up from over, whenever the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the people of Yasharal would set out. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not set out to the day that it was taken up. I mean, what are they doing? They're waiting. Why are they waiting? He said they're waiting for the kabod, the glory of Yahuwah, to move. Why are they waiting for it? He said, why are they waiting for it? Right? So this is a book of So this is the book of Yeshayahu. This is the book of Yeshayahu. This is the book of Yeshayahu. This is the book of Yeshayahu, verse 40. Chapter 40, verse 29. Chapter 40, verse 29. 40, verse 28. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Yahuwah is an everlasting Elohim, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, he said no strength, he increases strength. Why do you think Shamshun shine? His name means shine like the sun, because he increases strength. When he had no strength, he increases strength. Because Yahuwah abundantly pardons. He's full of steadfast love. He ain't like human beings. Crucify him, crucify him. You see what he did? Crucify him. He ain't like y'all. And he says, even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted, but they who wait on Yahuwah, He said, why? That's why they wait for the cloud. He said, why do you do that? Shall renew their strength. That's why they were waiting on it. What do the clouds do when it rains? I mean, they had their own personal watering fountain. And it says, they shall mount up with wings like eagles. They're going to be renewed like the eagles. Because Yahuwah is bound in steadfast love, and he abundantly pardons. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. It's not going to happen. Right, going back to Exodus. Shemuth, Exodus. This is the Shemuth, Exodus. Going back there. Going back to Exodus chapter 40. And it says right here, wherever the cloud, going to verse 36, throughout all their, it says actually verse 35, and Mashah was not able to enter the tent meeting, 40 verse 35, and Mashah was not able to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud settled on it, and the kabod of Yahuwah filled the tabernacle throughout all their journeys, wherever the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, and the people of Yasharal would set out. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not set out till the day that it was taken up. For For the cloud of Yahuwah was on the tabernacle by day, and the fire in it by night. It says, in the sight of the house of Yasharal throughout their journeys. Back to Psalms 19. Psalms 19 and 1. Psalms 19 and 1. And it says, the heavens declare his handy. The heavens declare the glory of Yahuwah. He said, the glory of Yahuwah, the kabod of Yahuwah filled the tabernacle, the Mishkan. And the sky above proclaimed his handiwork. People saying, why he said, seek those things which are above. People saying, why he said that? If you would be risen with Mashiach, because when the cloud rolls up, what do you think they were looking at? He was seeking those things which are above. Why do you think when the cloud rolls up? He said, that's when they set out. He's like, it's time to move. Why do you think Yahushua said, now is my soul troubled? For this purpose I came into the world. Because he's a kabod of Yahuwah. He said, if the son of Adam be lifted up, I'm going to draw all people to myself. Because when the cloud is lifted up, I'm going to follow it. Where are you going? And get what it says. Today he pours out his speech. That's what cloud do. He said, it was a cloud by day, and at night he reveals not. It was a burning lamp by night. There is no speech, nor are there words whose voice is not heard. He's like, I hear everything y'all saying. All your prayers in the middle of the night, all your speech during the day. He said, I hear everything everybody's saying. People saying, why he tell you to turn on? Man, sometimes you can be just noisy. You ever heard your parents in the house, shut up all that noise. He said, man, I hate your feast days, your muaz, your feast, your songs. Right? He says right here, there is no speech, nor are there words where his voice is not heard. Their voice goes out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. He said, how I get there? He said, in book of Ecclesiastes, Shalom already told us. He said, don't even in your thoughts curse the king. Matter of fact, not even in your house to curse the rich. That's a winged creature go and tell the matter. He said, man, that thing be flying all over the place. You be like, how you know about that? I heard what you said. It says, in them he has set a tent, In them he has set a tent. In them he has set a tent for the sun. He said a tent in them. He said a Ahal for the sun. Why do you think they had the tent there, the tent meeting, and they had the sun? He said the kabod of Yahuwah was inside the tent. He filled the tabernacle. He said the tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom leaving his chamber. And like a strong man runs his course with joy. Just like the sun travels along the 7 celestial circles. And guess what happens? It's rising from one end of the Shamayim in its circuit to the end of them. And there is nothing hidden from its heat. Ain't nothing hidden. Just like the heat right now. There's nothing hidden from it because it's gonna allow things to rise up. He said, whatever rises up, that's what you got. He said, that's it. He said, that's it. He said, that's it. Right? So this is the book of Aramaic Targums. This is the Aramaic Targums. Exodus. This is the Aramaic Targums, Jonathan. Exodus. Chapter 20. Most people don't have this, but I'm going to read it. It says Exodus chapter 20. Aramaic Targums, Jonathan, Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. And Yahuwah spoke all the praise of these words, saying, the first word that went out from his mouth, the Kudash one, made his name be Barak, was like shooting stars and lightning, and as torches, a torch of fire, on the right, to the right, and a torch of fire on the left. He said they were like flaming torches because the Shamayim declare his handiwork. Amazingly, when you see torches, it's happening at night. And guess what happens? It flew and winged swiftly in the air of the Shamayim and came back. And all Yasharal saw it and feared, and returning, it became engraved on 2 tables of the covenant and said, my people, children of Yasharal. And he started talking. And guess what happens? Right, so this is the book of Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25. Sorry. Should move to Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25. Verse 31. And he said, you shall make a menorah of pure gold. The menorah shall be made of hammered work. Its base and its stem, its cups, its chalices, and its flowers shall be of one piece. And there shall be 6 branches going out of its sides. 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. And 3 cups made of almond blossoms, each chalices of flour and 1 branch. What did you see? What did they see in the sky? They saw what? They saw burning torches to the left, and they saw it to the right of the actual works in the Shamayim. And what are these burning torches supposed to be? Right, because there's seven. He says what? And it says right here, 3 and 3, and you have 1 in the middle. What is that? 7. And it says right here, and 3 cups of almond blossoms, each of the calyx flower and the branches, for 6 branches going out of the lampstand. And on the lampstand itself shall be 4 cups made like almond blossoms, with the calyx and the flowers, and the calyx of 1 piece, with it under each pair of the 6 branches going out from the lampstand. He said, why? Why is all this important? Because the very same handiworks that you saw, he said, those like the burning torches. Why? Because the same thing that Yahuwah was speaking during that time was going to keep their lamp continually burning. It will keep that fire continually burning, that everybody may see. See what? That they may see what? Right, so this is the book of peace. And what are we actually seeing here? This is Yehukanan chapter 9. Yehukanan John chapter 9, verse 33. Let's see. Yehukanan chapter 9, verse 31. Actually, Yehukanan chapter 9, John chapter 9, verse 30. John chapter 9, verse 30. The man answered, why is this an amazing thing? You do not know where he comes from, and yet he opened my eyes. He said, how are you going to open your eyes? How many eyes in the near? He said, these are the 7 eyes that go throughout the world. These 7 near. He said, these 7 eyes. He said, he opened my eyes. Do what? We know that Elohim does not listen to sinners. Why? Because we just read how it causes all suffering and all types of disorder in your body. But if anyone is a worshiper of Elohim and does his will, what's the will of Yahuwah? That you keep his commandments. That you do what he says. Yahuwah listens to him. He hears your prayer. Never since the world began has it been heard that anyone has opened the eyes of the blind, man born blind. Why do you think he had all this in the torches in the sky and handiwork? It was darkness. They couldn't see. They didn't know what they were seeing. They didn't understand it. They couldn't see. And what was he doing on that time when he put all that stuff in the Shamayim in Exodus chapter 20? And he says, if any man were from Elohim, he could do nothing. He said, if any man were not from Elohim, he could do nothing. If he ain't a God, you ain't no way you can do this. You got to be an Elohim to do this. And you could be an evil Elohim too. And it says, they answered him, you were born in utter sin, and would you teach us? And they cast him out. They cast that blind man out. Because they thought they cast that blind man out. You going to try to teach us? Teach us what? You were born blind. Now you can see, and now all of a sudden, now you want to start teaching us now. You want to start telling us, because Yahuwah sent you to me to try to teach me something. Yeah, he did. But guess what he did? And Yahusha heard that they had cast him out, because that's what Yahusha liked. Yahusha liked that. He's like, look at that. I like that. And he says what? And having found him, he said, do you believe in the son of Yahuwah, the son of Adam? He said, you believe in me? And get what he said? He answered, who is he, sir, that I may believe in him? Why? Because he have an enlightened thought. Because he opened the eyes of his natural sight, which he was gracious and grateful for. His natural sight was open. And he still could not perceive who he was. And he said, and Yahushua said to him, you have seen him, and he is one who's speaking to you. That's the only reason I open your eyes, so you can see me, and you can see me talking to you. He said, why would he do that? He said, why would he do that to that man? Why would he do that to that man? Right, so this is the book of, he said, it is me right here. This is the book of, he said, why would he do that to him? Right, so this is the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah. He said, why would he do that? Why would he say that? It is me and he that's speaking with you. Do you believe in the son of Adam? It's me right here. He's like, here I go. I'm right here, right in front of your face. This is Yeshayahu, chapter 30, verse 18. Isaiah 30, 18. Therefore, Yahuwah waits to be gracious. He said, Yahuwah waits to be gracious to you. Why are you waiting for you to be gracious to you? So he bound in steadfast love, and he abundantly pardons. He's waiting for you to put away your works of the flesh. Because I'm going to be gracious to you. And guess what happens? And therefore he exalts himself to show mercy to you, because he crowns him with steadfast love and mercy. Why would he exalt himself with mercy? Because that's what Yahushua did. That's why he was lifted up. That's why he was on the cross in totality. That's why when they said, come down from the cross and we will believe in you, they're not even knowing that that was his kind toward them. For Yahuwah is a Elohim of justice. He's an Elohim of justice. Barak are those who wait for him. Oh, there you go. Wait for the cloud. I'm waiting for the cloud. He said, they'll wait on Yahuwah, renew their strength. They'll be renewed like an eagle. He said, man, you're going to be just renewed like an eagle, because Yahuwah is bounding in steadfast love and mercy, forgetting out all his benefits. He's going to heal all your diseases. He said, Barak are those who wait for him. For a people shall dwell in Saon in Jerusalem. You shall weep no more. Isn't that what in Kazum Revelation, he said, ain't going to be no more tears anymore? In this place, there's going to be no more suffering anymore. Because you ain't going to have none of those behaviors anymore. And guess what? It's all going to leave you. And it says right here, he will surely be gracious to you at the sound of your cry. As soon as he hears it, he answers you. Because remember, what did the blind man's people say? He said, son of Adam, have mercy on me. Because he was blind. He said, son of Adam, have mercy on me. And though Yahuwah give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, you know what the blind man had? He couldn't see. He couldn't see He couldn't see anything. He couldn't see the flowers, the blooms of the trees. He couldn't see the fruits. He couldn't see his future wife. He couldn't see anything. He had his life back. He gave him the bread of adversity and the water of affliction. He couldn't see nothing. Yet, your teacher will not hide himself anymore. Why do you think he opened his eyes? Why do you think he opened his eyes? He said, it is I and him who's speaking with you. And get what it said? But your eyes shall see your teacher. Do you believe in the Son of Adam? You believe in the Son of Yahuwah? Tell me who he is, and I will worship. I'll give praise. He said, it is I'm speaking with you right now. And guess what 21 says? And your ears shall hear a word, behold, behind you, saying, what do you mean a word behind you? You hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it. When you turn to the right, or when you turn to the left, then you will defile your carved images overlaid with silver and gold and planted metal. And once you see me, he said, man, once you see me, he was just like, once you see me, He said, all them idols and silver and gold and all the stuff you worship. He like, look at here. You ain't never seen nothing like me before. Once I open your eyes. He said, can you see me? And get what he says. You will scatter them as unclean things. You're going to throw them away. I'm going to put away all that hatred, jealousy, envy, strife, envy, all that works of the flesh. I'm going to put away that. I'm going to throw that stuff. I'm going to cast away like an unclean thing. Because that's one of the things that won't allow you to inherit the kingdom of Yahuwah. Uncleanness and idolatry. He said, I'm going to cast all that stuff away. I'm going to throw it away from me like an unclean thing, like something abominable, like something that's disgusting, like Beelzebub. You will say to them, be gone. He said, can you say that to your earthly behaviors? Can you say that to your works of the flesh? Be gone? Or are you still holding to it? He said, be gone. Right, so this is back to Yochanan chapter 9. Yochanan chapter 9, John chapter 9, verse 31. John chapter 9, verse 31. Actually, John chapter 9, verse 37. 9:37. Yahushua said to him, you have seen him, and it is he who speaks to you. He said, Master, I believe, and he worshiped him. Yahushua said, for judgment I came into this world, that those who do not see may see, and those who see may become blind. He's like, I healed your eyes. I healed your lampstand. I healed your 7 lampstands. I healed your 7 lamps. I healed your 7 near. I gave you 7 eyes back that you can see. And guess what happened? Guess what happened? He said, and get what he says. 38 says, he said, Master, I believe, and he worshiped him. And Yahushua said, for judgment I have come into this world, that those who do not see may see. Why do you think in the Aramaic Targums he put the handiwork in the sky, and he put torches in the sky, and from left to right? Because they couldn't see. Right, going back to the Aramaic Targums, actually, going to Exodus ESV chapter 20, verse 1. Because they couldn't see. He said, man, why they couldn't see something? It was something they couldn't see. For some reason, you can't see this. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. And Yahuwah spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. And you will cast them things away like an abominable thing once you see me. He said, you shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make to yourselves a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in the Shamayim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah, your Elohim, made jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the 34th generation of those who hate me. You mean to the children? But showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. He said, I'm going to show mercy to you. And get what it says. You shall not take the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it Kudash. Back to Yochanan chapter 9, verse 31. John chapter 9, verse 31. 9:31. 9:31. Going to 9:39. 9:39. Yahushua answered. Yahushua said, for judgment I came into this world. What do you think he was doing there when they got to the mountain? He was casting judgment on them. He said, for judgment I come into the world, that those who do not see may see, and those who maybe be blind become blind. May see, may become blind. Some of the Pharisees near him heard these things. So that became male and female. They heard it. And you can hear it. And get what he said. He says, some of the Pharisees near him heard these things and said to him, are we blind also? Are we also blind? You calling me blind? You calling us blind? He says, Yahushua said to them, if you were blind, you will have no guilt. You will have no suffering. You wouldn't have no suffering. Matter of fact, you wouldn't have no disorderliness in your body. And you wouldn't be disobedient. He said, if you were blind, you will have no guilt. Why? Because you're blind, you need somebody to open your eyes. And your eyes will see your teaching. But now that you say, we see, he said, we see. He said, your guilt remains. He said, your sin remains. He said, retain your sin. Because I'm abounding in steadfast love, abundantly pardoning and gracious. I'm waiting for you to be gracious to you. But being that you won't repent, he says, guess what? Retain your sin. Because you for some reason, you're in love with it. He said, stay with your lover. He said, stay with your lover. Right? He said, stay with your lover. He said, being that you see, your guilt remains. Right? So this is 2nd Enoch. Right, this is 2nd Enoch, Pseudepigrapha, Volume 1. 2nd Enoch, Pseudepigrapha, Volume 1. Second Enoch, Pseudepigrapha, Volume 1. I think it's verse 60, chapter 60. Right, so this is 2nd Enoch chapter 59. 2nd Enoch chapter 59, Pseudepigrapha, volume 1, chapter 59. It says, he who acts lawlessly with the soul of an animal acts lawlessly with his own soul. For a person brings one of the clean animals to make a sacrifice on account of sin, so that he may have healing for his soul. Why do you think Yehukanan said, behold the Lamb of Yahuwah who takes away the sin of the world? He said, why? Because your sacrifices and offerings, I never wanted it. He said, but a body I prepared for myself. Because even David said in Psalm 51, he said, if we needed a bull, I would give it. He said the sacrifice of Yahuwah is a broken and contrite heart. It says, so that he may have healing for his soul. If he brings it to the sacrifice from the clean animals of the birds, then there is healing for that person, and he will heal his soul. He said, you gotta bring that. He said, it'll be healing for your soul. He said, you bring this animal, it'll be healing for your soul. Right? So this is Yehukanan, John, Yehukanan, chapter 19, verse 1. 18, verse 1. Yehukanan 18, verse 1. It says, when Yahushua had spoken these words, he went to his disciples across the brook Kidron, where there was a garden, which he and the disciples entered. Now Yehuda, who betrayed him, also knew the place, for Yahushua often met there with his disciples. So Yehuda, having procured a band of soldiers and some officers of the chief priests and the Pharisees, went there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Yahushua, knowing all that was going to happen to him, came forward and said, whom do you seek? And Yahushua answered, and they answered, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua said, I am he. Yehuda, who betrayed him, was standing with him. When Yahushua said to him, I am he drew back and fell to the ground. So he asked them again, whom do you seek? And they answered, and they said, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua answered, I am told you I am he. So if you seek me, let them go. Why was he doing that? Because he was going to get an animal for the healing of his soul. He was going to get an animal for the healing of his soul. It says, everyone that have been given you, it says right here, going back to verse Enoch, 2nd Enoch chapter 59. 2nd Enoch chapter 59. It says, everything that has been given to you, it says right here, if he brings it to the sacrifice from the clean animals and the birds, then there is healing for that person, and he will heal his soul. Why do you think they were going to get it? Why do you think the Pharisee described? He said it's expedient that one should die for the people. It says everything that, because it says, everything that has been given to you for food, bind by 4 legs, so as to perform the healthy healing properly. Why then they bound him and tied cords around him and bound him and brought him to the chief and the high priest? And there is healing, and he will heal his soul. It says, and he who puts to death any kind of animal without bonds and acts lawlessly with his own flesh, and he who does any kind of harm whatsoever to any kind of animal in secret, it is an evil custom. Why didn't they do that to Yahushua? They went and bound him secretly. They did it all in secret. It says, and he acts lawlessly with his own soul. Verse chapter 60 says, he who does harm to a human soul creates harm for his own soul. We just read in the recognition of Clement, he said, man, you're going to bring suffering from disobedience. You're going to bring suffering and all types of disorder in your body. It says, and there is for him no healing of his flesh, nor any forgiveness for eternity. He who carries out a murder of a human soul causes death for his own soul, and murders his own body. Self-inflicted. He said, you do that to yourself. And it says right here, and there is no healing for him for eternity. He who lies in wait for a person with any kind of trap, that's anything, whether it can be a flat tire on the side of the road, throwing something on the ground to provoke somebody, doing something around to try to provoke somebody, set somebody up, do schemes and trickery. Guess what happens? He said, and there is no healing for him for eternity. He who lies in wait for a person in judgment, his retribution will not be slackened in the great judgment of eternity. And it says, and he who acts perversely or says anything against any soul, righteousness will not be created for him for eternity. Right, so this is the book of, this is the book of, so this is the Dictionary of Demons. Dictionary of Demons. Dictionary of Demons. This is the Dictionary of Demons. Page 45 is being called Alath, A-L-A-T-H. It says a fearsome spirit whose name appears in the extra biblical says Testament of Solomon. Alath is a demon of illness, said to attack children. And get what it says: he steals their breath and causes asthma and coughs and other labored breathing. It says that he is the 21st demon, those associated with the 36 deacons of the zodiac, and he is said to have the body of a man and the head of a beast. Right? You see all these things on the video games. You see all these things on things like Tekken. You see these things on certain shows and things of that sort. All these are a part of all this stuff that you see in the world. Like a lot of this stuff that people interact with don't even know what they're interacting with. A lot of the things that people interact with, they don't have no clue what they're interacting with. But it says right here, or these other different manifestations that they create, right? Some of the beings that people interact with or has used as an avatar or a controller, they're actually being controlled because they're spending so much time in it, and they got them indoors instead of being outdoors in the sun and being able to experience the elements and healing their body. So they're being inside of this house and interacting with these things on a continual basis, over and over and over and over again. You now interacting, and now your body, it creates all these other sicknesses in your body, and you're not even designed to be indoors all that time. You get what it says? And it says, he's the 21st Shadim of those associated with the 36 deacons of the zodiac. And it says, the beast according to the testament, and he can be driven away by folk. And it talks about all these other things, right? So skipping over, The only reason I mention that because of all the other spirits in the world. But at the same time, these spirits can take on different forms, and these spirits don't allow certain things to transpire in one's life when it comes to your body being able to breathe. You get fresh air from trees. You get fresh air from being in the field. You get fresh air from being outside, not indoors looking at a screen and playing a video game. Right? These are all things people use for entertainment. But it says right here, this next one is Albiwi. That's what it says, Albiwi. A demon of murder. Because anybody who murders anybody, you bring murder to your own soul. It says murder, mayhem, hatred, and discord. Albiwi serves under the king of the spirits of Saturn. It says, when he manifests, it is in a monstrous form, with black, translucent skin. So you look at your body. Look at your body. And it says, and guess what he says? If compelled to take more of a human shape, he may appear as an old man with a long beard, or as an elderly woman leaning on walking sticks. Right? So you look at all this stuff. When you start looking at this world, and you start operating in it, now this is out of their books. When you start operating in this world, you're looking at a world that's full of things that you have no comprehension of. So you look at your skin, look at your body. He said, do you have hatred? Do you have wrath? Do you have these things in your body? Do you have murder? Is your skin healed? Is your melanin healed? Is your pigmentation healed, or is your pigmentation off? Because then if it's not, then guess what? You got murder, mayhem, and hatred and discord within yourself. Right, so this is the book of this is the book of let's see. Right, so this is the book of Mark. This is the book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 17. Mark chapter 7, verse 14. Mark chapter 7, verse 14. Mark chapter 7, verse 14. And he called the people to him again and said to them, hear, all you and understand. So have an understanding within yourself. Because that's what he gave Ezra. He gave him a candlestick of understanding was lit inside of him. And get what it says. There is nothing outside a person that by going into him can defile him. But the things that come out of a person are what defiles him. And when he had entered the house and left the people, his disciples asked him about the parable. Why? Because the kabod of Yahuwah filled the house, the tent meeting. And get what it says. And he says to them, then are you without understanding? Because I'm telling you about something you still don't know. Do you not see that whatsoever goes into a person from the outside cannot defile him, since it enters not in his heart, but his stomach, and is expelled? Because you're talking about something natural that you do every single day. It says, thus he declared all the foods, and he said to him, verse 20, and he said, what comes out of a person is what defiles him. For from within, out of the heart of man, comes evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, wickedness, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within. All these demons come from within. And they defile a person. He said all those things come from within, right? So this is going back to 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha. 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha. 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha. Second Enoch. Second Enoch, this is chapter 67, I think it is. Yeah. 66. Second Enoch, 66. Pseudepigrapha, 66. Verse 6, yes, chapter 66. Second Enoch, chapter 66, Pseudepigrapha, volume 1. It says, for Yahuwah sees everything that a person thinks in his heart. He said, I see everything that's within inside of you. Then reason advises him. For every thought is presented before Yahuwah, who made the earth firm and settled all the creatures upon it. When he did that? We just read it. He did it in the 6th month. He said the 6th day. It says, if you look upon the sky, behold, Yahuwah is there. For Yahuwah created the sky, because that's where his handiwork is. He said, why he put it all in the Shamayim? Seek those things which are above. And it says right here, if you look upon the earth, then Yahuwah is there. He said does not I feel Shamayim in earth? And it says right here, he said, Yahuwah is there. For Yahuwah created the sky. If you look upon the earth, then Yahuwah is there. For Yahuwah founded the earth and placed upon it all his creatures. If you meditate upon the depths of the ocean and on all that is beneath the earth, then Yahuwah is there. Because Yahuwah created all things. Do not bow down to anything created by man, nor anything created by Elohim, so committing apostasy against Yahuwah of all creation. For no kind of deed is hidden from the face of Yahuwah. He's like, man, he's like, nothing is hid. Right, so this is the book of Psalms. He said, because there's nothing hid. Why? Because Yahuwah is light. I can see you. Right, so this is the book of, we almost finished. This is the book of Bereshith, Genesis. Actually, no, this is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms. Psalm chapter 139. Psalm chapter 139 and 1. O Yahuwah, you have, Psalms 139 and 1. O Yahuwah, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise. He said, Yahuwah know when you sit down, when you rise, when you walk by, when you lie down, when you rise up. He know where you're going. He can see all your thoughts. He can see what you're doing. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Yahuwah, you know it altogether. So people think, I'm going to speak something that Yahuwah don't know. You already know what you're getting ready to say before you even say it. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. He said, you ain't going nowhere. He says, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. He said, even to try to comprehend how you even do all that. There ain't nowhere in the world I can do that. It is high, I cannot attain it. Why? Because it's unsearchable. Even as high as the Shamayim is to your thoughts on my way. That's both male and female. Because, you know, a lot of people think they're intelligent because they got a PhD, a master's degree, or they know all the parts of the body or do all these things. He's saying, man, you don't know a lot. It says, where shall I go from your Ruach? Or where should I flee from your presence? Where should I flee from your Ruach? Because you created man in your own image in the fruits of the Ruach. If I ascend in Shamayim, you were there. If I build my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take up the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand will lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. Why? Because I can see you. Even there, he says, verse 11 says, if I say, surely darkness shall cover me, because that's what they thought. You thought you could see. He said, they that see, being that you say we see, your guilt remains. He's saying darkness covered me. He's saying I'm blind. He said, even surely if darkness shall cover me, and the light about me be night, because you know he a fire by night. How you say a near by night, a lamp by night. You get what it says? Even the darkness is not dark to you, and the night is bright as the day. It's just like the day, because you know why? Because when the sun leaves, it's like Enoch wrote, Second Enoch, when the sun leaves the seven celestial circles, and when the earth uses productivity, which means that he's literally saying that the sun will never depart from me. You can see everything I'm doing, even when it's nighttime. You are light. The lamp don't go out by night inside of me. You can see everything I'm doing. I don't mind being a continual lamp 12 months out of the year. I want you to see everything I'm doing, whether it's good or evil. Please show me. Why do you think David said, Yahuwah, show me what I'm doing wrong. Rebuke me. Show me what I'm doing wrong. Why would he say that? Because I want you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. And get what it says. Because he said he rebuked me every morning. Right? And it says, even darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day. For darkness is as light with you. Because you prepared a tent for the sun. Ahal for the sun. Get what it said, where he put it at. Verse 13, for you form my inward parts. What comes from inside of a person? You form my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. You know, they try to say they some special code of the DNA strand inside of the human genome. Fix this together and put these actual components in these bloodstreams and these white and red and black blood cells inside the RNA and DNA code and infused it inside of your thoughts and created it inside of a human being. That's all foolishness. It's unsearchable. It's just too wonderful for you. It's too beautiful. Like there's no way you can comprehend it. There wouldn't be a Yahuwah Elohim if you could do it. If you can say it to me. For you formed my inward being. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. There's all the parts, the capillaries, the dendrites, the hands, the feet, the femurs, the bones, all of the names and the blood vessels, the melanin centers, the eyes, the ears, all the things that you think Yahuwah can't heal. All the things you think he can't heal you. He said, you don't believe I can't heal you? I made you. So the potter, till the clay say to the potter, what is he making? I made you. So the clay says to the potter, what the heck are you making? I made you. I know exactly where all your body parts go. I know where everything gets fixed. I know how to put it all back together and make it in perfect health. And it says right here, for you formed my inward parts and knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I ain't ashamed. He's like, I'm not ashamed to be a continual lit lamp in the nighttime and in the morning. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of it. My soul knows it very well. Your soul, Barak Yahuwah, oh my soul. May you be in good health even as your soul prospers. He said, my frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret. We can talk about Enoch when he talked about taking an animal and killing a human being in secret. He said he was made in secret. Why do you think they took Yahusha in secret? He says, woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance, verse 16. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. He said, Yahuwah got a whole book of your life before you even lived it. He said, how Yahuwah know where I'm at right now? Because he had it in a book already. He already know what you're going to do before you did it. Let me open this up. Oh, all right. So tomorrow you're going to do this. Today you're going to do this. When that person says something to you, you're going to do this today. I already knew you were going to do it before you did it. And people say, I don't fear him. Right, so this is the book of 2nd Enoch, chapter 66. Going back. Finishing this up. The 2nd Enoch, chapter 66. Pseudographa, volume 1. It says, for Yahuwah sees everything that a person thinks in his heart. Then reason advises him, for every thought is presented before Yahuwah, who made the earth firm and settled all creatures upon it. If you look upon the sky, behold, Yahuwah is there. For Yahuwah Elohim created the sky. If you look upon the earth, then Yahuwah is there. He said, I ascended in the Shamayim. If I build my in the earth, he was there. Yahuwah founded the earth. And it says, and placed upon it all his creatures. If you meditate upon the depths of the ocean of all that is beneath the earth, then Yahuwah is there. He's like, Yahuwah, you everywhere. He said, where David get that from? Where David get that from? He said, David had the book of Hanuk. Yeah, he did. Because Yahuwah created all things. He says, do not bow down to anything created by man, nor anything created by Elohim, so committing apostasy against Yahuwah Elohim, all creation. For no kind of deed is hidden from his face, the face of Yahuwah. Walk, my children, right? So this is what he said, walk, my children, in long suffering. What's long suffering? Love. Ahal. He said, so when you get punished for your disobedience, and it be a long punishment, walk in long suffering. Disoiling your body, he said, walk in long suffering. Why? Because that's your walk. It's going to shine brighter and brighter until a perfect day. Halak, halak. It says, in meekness, put on then as Yahuwah's chosen ones. In affliction, he said, walk, my children, in affliction. He's continue to walk. Halak. Walk in halak in long suffering, halak in meekness, in honesty. Halak in your affliction too. Halak in your distress. When things ain't going right. Halak, walk in faithfulness. Still walk in the fruits of the rod. Halak in truth. Halak in hope, tikva. Halak in your weakness. Why do you think Shaul said, Yahuwah, he said, man, Yahuwah gave me a thorn in my flesh. Because I got all these revelations, lest I be exalted in mind. And I besought him 3 times for it. He said, my con is sufficient. Because I graciously, abundantly pardon. But guess what? My strength is made perfect in weakness. Walk in weakness. Walk in derision. When everything all over the place and disorderly. He says, walk in assaults. When people start assaulting you, spirits and demons start assaulting you, things start assaulting you. It says, walk in temptation. Walk, my children, in temptation. Why? Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my pathway. He said, when you draw away your own lust, he said, you will always leave a way to escape. Walk in your temptation. And get what it says. In deprivation, in lack. I know how to be hungry. I know how to be full. I know how to be hungry. I know how to suffer loss. Walk in your nakedness. Why do you think Yahushua walked in his nakedness? People say, why he did that? Why do you think they stripped off his robe? Why do you think they did that? And he still did it. He still kept walking. He still kept going to the cross, totality. And he still kept going. He still kept moving forward. Guess what it says? Having love for one another. Oh, the first thing. Ahal. He said, have love one for another until you go out from this age of suffering. This time of suffering. Because there's a time for everything under the sun. So that you may become inheritors of a never-ending age. Huh? People say, why he say you don't suffer, you don't reign? Because you're going to get punished for what you did before you found him. But then at the same time, he says, continue to walk. Continue to halak. And you'll shine brighter and brighter until a perfect day. You continue to shine. And get what it says. So that you may become inheritors of a never-ending age. How happy are the righteous who shall escape Yahuwah's great judgment, for they will be made to shine 7 times brighter than the sun. He's going to strike it into 7 channels. And he's going to bring people out of Mizraim on sandals. He got 7 years. 3 to the left and 3 to the right, with 1 in the middle. He said, I'm going to strike into 7 celestial circles. And them 7 cogs and muaz too. He said, I'm going to make you shine 7 times brighter than the sun. He said, why would I make you shine 7 times brighter than the sun? Because you're the light of the world. No man lighted the candle and put it under the table. They put it on top of the table. that all may see the kabod in Exodus chapter 40, when Yahuwah's glory filled the house, when Yahushua went into the house of Asenath, man, his crown shot 12 stones, and it shot 12 rays of light. And it filled the whole house, and they all bowed to the ground. He said, I'm gonna make you shine 7 times brighter than the sun. The sun has 12 rays of light. He said, I'm gonna make you 7 times brighter than that. Because he prepared a tent for the sun. He prepared your body for the shamash. Actually, a shamash that's 7 times, a light that's 7 times brighter. He said, why would you make a light 7 times brighter than the sun? Look at what it says. It says, for in that age, everything is estimated 7-fold. 7-fold. He said, 7-fold. He said, why would he say that? Right, so this is the book of, yeah, this is interesting. All right, this is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, Tahalim. Psalm 79 and 10. Tahalim 79 and 10. Psalms 79 and 10. It says, why should the nations, the Goys, say, where is their Elohim? That's what they're saying today. He said, where is Yasharal and Yahuwah's Elohim? They're saying, where are the 12 tribes Elohim at? Why should they say that? Let the avenging of the outpour blood of your servant. It says, let the avenging of the outpour blood of your servants be known among the nations before our eyes. Let the groans of the prisoners come before you. According to your great power, preserve those doomed to die. He said, why should they do that? He said, return 7-fold into the lap of our neighbors. He's like, why would they do that? He said, return them 7-fold. He said, how are you going to do that? Come and make you brighter, 7 times brighter than the sun. He said, in your affliction, in your suffering, he said, halak, walk in it, and you'll be the inheritors of a never-ending age. It says, and get what it says, the taunts that which they have taunted you, O Yahuwah. He said, in your what? In your assaults. And get what it says. But we, your people, the sheep of your pasture, will give thanks to you forever. From generation to generation, we will count your praise. We will recount it. He said, we will recount it. Right, so going back to 2nd Enoch 66. It says, happy are the righteous who escape Yahuwah's great judgment, for they will be made to shine 7 times brighter than the sun. For in that age, everything is estimated 7-fold. Light and darkness, and food and enjoyment and misery and paradise and tortures. It says, in fire and frost, all this I have put down in writing, so that you might read it and think about it. He said, that you may read it and think about it. It says, Yahuwah sent out darkness on, verse 6, chapter 67, it says, and Yahuwah sent out darkness onto the earth, and it covered the people in Hanuk. And he was taken up into the highest Shamayim, and it became light. And when Enoch had spoken to the people, gloom unto the earth, and it became dark. What happens when the sun leaves? Everything loses productivity, and you're not moved to the shortest day. He said, when he left, it became gloom and darkness. He said, ain't no more light anymore. Enoch left. Why do you think when Yahushua left in the book of Acts, he said, why are you standing here looking at when Yahushua was taken up? For this same Mashiach whom was taken up in the Shamayim would come back in the same like manner. So why are you waiting? Why are you not walking? He said, why are you not walking? Right? But he said darkness is on the face of darkness on the face of deep. Right? So this is the right, so this is the book of it's 99 minutes. Yeah. So this is the book of First Kings chapter 1. 1 Kings chapter 1 verse 1. 1 Kings chapter 1 verse 1. 1 Kings chapter 1 verse 1. Aleph Malachim chapter 1 verse 1. Now Malach Daud was old and advanced in years, and although they covered him with clothes, he could not keep warm. Therefore his servant said to him, let a young woman or a maiden Alma be sought for the master, the king, and let her wait on the king to be in service, and let her lie in your arms, that my master, the king, may be warm. So they saw a beautiful young woman throughout the territory of Yasharal, and found Abishag the Shumanite, and brought her to the king. And the young woman was very beautiful, and she was in service to the king and attended to him. But the king knew her not. Now Abaniah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself. So we talked about what? He exalts himself. What do you mean he exalts himself? Exalt himself to do what? Saying, I am the king. I will be king. He's like, because Daud is getting ready to die. So he's like, I'm going to be the king now. Because you know what? Because I'm exalting myself, right? And he prepared for himself chariots and horsemen and 50 men to run before him. His father had never at any time displeased him by asking, why have you done thus and so? His father never corrected him. His father, just like we talked about with Maureen, when she was going in Michelle's fate, her father never corrected her. And you see this person, his father never even asked, nor even inquired, nor even corrected him on what he was doing. And guess what happens? Why have you done this so? And he also was a very handsome man. So David was handsome, he was handsome, he was good looking, and he was born after Absalom. Absalom was long locks, big, strong. And guess what it says? And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest. And they followed Adoniah, and helped him. But Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Yahuiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei the reed, and David's mighty men were not among Adoniah. So you see, even Nathan the prophet, who rebuked to call David when he committed adultery with Bathsheba, was still there. And they're interacting with each other. He got rebuked by Nathan, and Nathan with his mighty men that he had. And you see Nathan still among him, interacting with everybody, even after he got rebuked by somebody, even a Nabi, right in his face. And Aydah sacrificed sheep and oxen and fatted cattle and serpent stones, and what is beside in Gerel. And he invited all his brothers and the king's sons and all the royal officials of Yehuda. But he did not invite Nathan, the Nabi. Why would he not bring Nathan? Because he know Nathan going to rebuke him. He already know. He said, I ain't inviting him. I'm not inviting Nathan, because you already know Nathan's going to tell you what it is. And he said, and Benaiah, or the mighty men of Shalomah, his brother. He said, I ain't inviting none of them, because they found out. It says, then Nathan said to Bathsheba. So Nathan, who rebuked David for sleeping with Bathsheba, is interacting still with Bathsheba. Even after he got rebuked and said, you commit adultery and your child gonna die, and all these things, and you see Bathsheba still talking to Nathan. Not hiding her face from him, not showing him funny, not looking at him funny, not because he rebuked his leader or his shepherd or his king. No, you don't see her doing that. No, but that's what you see today, though. And it says, then Nathan said to Bathsheba, the mother of Shalomah. That's who the son she had after David got rebuked by him. That's the son she had. Because David took her to be his wife after he committed adultery and destroyed his family. Well, the guys destroyed her husband. And guess what? He still took her to be his wife. And they tried to cover up their sin. And he said, the sword ain't gonna never depart out of your house, though. He said, but in your suffering and in all your affliction, halak, just like Enoch wrote. But it says, have you not heard that Adaniah, the son of Haggith, has become king, and Daud, our master, does not know it? He don't even know it. And she's still calling him master. Now therefore come, let me give you advice. So now she's trying to here you got Bathsheba giving Nathan, who rebuked David for the things he did. And then now she's giving advice to him, that you may save your own life, right? So you got all this going on. This is Nathan said to Bathsheba. All this, right? So you got Nathan saying this to Bathsheba, right? And it says, let me give you advice. You got Nathan giving her advice. All this at the same time. And it says, that you may save your own life and the life of your son Shalom. So you got Nathan, who is a Nabi, interacting with Bathsheba, whom he rebuked her husband, whom she had Shalom. Then Nathan's like, I'm going to save your life and your son's life by giving you this advice. Because somebody then exalted themselves. Because you know what happens when you exalt yourself? Somebody you're ready to die. Somebody you're ready to die. That you may save your own life and the life of your son Shalom. Go in at once to King Malach Daud, and say to him, did you not, my master the king, swear to your servant, saying, Shalom, your son? Because you know Shalom means behold peace. Because that's one of the fruits of the Ruach. Your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne. Why then is Adaniah king? Then while you are sleeping, and then it says, then while you are still speaking with the king, I also will come in after you and confirm your words. So I'm going to confirm what you said. This is my advice to you. What is she doing to him? What is she doing? What is the prophet, Nabi, what is Nathan doing for her? I also will come in after you and confirm your words. So Bathsheba went to the king in his chamber. Now the king was very old, and Aydahchay the Shumanite was attending to the king. And Bathsheba bowed and paid homage to the king. And the king said, well, what do you desire? She bowed to the ground, because she was at his feet. Bathsheba still hit the ground, even after she committed adultery with him. And Uriah died, and the son died. And she still bowed to the ground to the king and called him master. After all that happened. And get what he says. She said to him, my master, you swore to your servants by Yahuwah your Elohim, saying, Shalom, your son shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne. And now, behold, Adaniah is king, Malach. Although you, my master, the king, do know it. He said, you know it. So what is she doing? He sacrificed oxen, fatted cattle, and sheep in abundance. And here's what he says, and has invited all the sons of the kings of Abathar the priest and Joab the commander of the army. But Shalom, your servant, he has not invited. And now, my master, the king, the eyes of all Yashar are on you, to tell them who shall sit on the throne of my master, the Malach, after him. Otherwise, it will come to pass when my master, the king, sleeps with his fathers, that I and my son Shalom will be counted offenders. While she was still speaking with the king, Nathan the prophet came in and told the king, here is Nathan the prophet, Nabi. And when he came in before the king, he bowed before the king with his face to the ground. Everybody at his feet, to the Malach. And Nathan said, my master, the king, have you said Adaniah shall reign after me? and he shall sit on my throne? For he has gone down this day and has sacrificed oxen and fatted calves and sheep in abundance, and has invited all the sons, the commanders of the army, and Abathar the priest, and behold, they are eating and drinking before him, and saying, Long live King Adoniah. But me, your servant, Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Yahuiada, and your servant Shallum, he has not invited. Has this been brought about by my master the king? And you have not told your servants who should sit on the throne of my master king after him? So that you see them repeating the same thing. Why? Because at the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every debar be established. That's why Peter said, Koph said, in 1 Peter, he said, I write to you, and I'm stirring up your pure mind by way of remembrance, that you might be mindful of the words spoken by the Hudah's prophet. So what are they doing? That they might be, that David, remind David of the words that were spoken by Yahuwah. He said, your son gonna build my house. It says, verse 28 says, Then King David answered, Call Bathsheba to me. So she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. And the king swore, saying, As Yahuwah lives, who has redeemed my soul out of every adversity? Why? Because he delivers you from every adversity. Why? Because the people around him, even though Nathan rebuked him, Bathsheba was still interacting with Nathan. Yahuwah killed his son, and all these things are still interacting with each other. And guess what? You don't see them holding any grudges against each other. You don't see them having any type of animosity against each other. You don't see them having any type of rivalries with each other. But for some reason, that's what people do today. And it says, And the king swore, saying, As Yahuwah lives, who has redeemed my soul out of every adversity, as I swore to you by Yahuwah, the Elohim Yasharal, saying, Shallum, your son, shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne in my place. Even so will I do this day. Then Bathsheba bowed her face to the ground and paid homage to the king and said, May the king, Yahuwah, Daud, live forever. He said, live forever. What did he say in 2nd Enoch? He said, in your what? In your affliction, walk. In your adversity, walk. In your assaults, walk. He said, if you do these things, you will inherit, having a forever inheritance. That's what Enoch said. You will have an inheritance forever. Forever and ever. And people said, when you get to the King Malkuth, you're going to see David there. Yeah, you're going to see him there. He said, live forever. And people saying, why is David old? Just like in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, he says, behold, what? I wound, I killed, I make alive. I do all these things. I lift up my hands and say, what? I live forever. That's what Yahuwah said. I live forever. And it says, in verse 32 says, And King David said, Call to me Zadok, the priest, Nathan the Nabi, and Benaiah, the son of Yahuiada. So they came before the king, and the king said to them, Take with you the servants of your master, and have Shallum, my son, ride on my own mule. Because you know what happens? He said, they are exalted, you're going to be abased. He said, have him ride on my own mule and bring him down to Gihon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the Nabi there anoint him king over Yasharal. Why do you think it says, and then blow the teruah and say, Long live King Shallum. Long live Malak Shallum, the Malak of peace. You shall then count up after him, and he shall come and sit on my throne, and he shall be king in my place. And I have appointed him to be ruler over Yasharal and over Yehuda. He said, I appointed him to do that. Right, so this is the book of, this is the last two things. This is the book of, Right, this is the book of Mark chapter 10, Mark chapter 11. Mark chapter 11, verse 1. It says, now when they drew near to Jerusalem and Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives, Yahushua sent two of his disciples and said to him, go into the village in from you, and immediately as you enter in it, you will find a colt tied, on which one has ever sat. Untie it and bring it. And if anyone says to you, why are you doing this? Say, the master has need of it. Why do you think they would call him David master? He said, man, go give me a mule. And David said, man, go give me a colt, a donkey, and you're going to ride on that donkey. Amazing. He said, master, what do you want us to do? He said, the master has need of it. And it says, and we'll send it back to here immediately. I'm going to give it right back. And they went away and found the colt tied at the door outside the street, and they untied it and sat. And some of those standing there said to them, what are you doing, untying the colt? And they told them what Yahushua had said, and they let them go. And they brought the colt to Yahushua and threw their cloaks on it. And he sat on it, and many spread their cloaks on the road. So he's David, the master, and he's Shalom at the same time. And others spread their leafy branches that they had cut from the fields. And those who went before and those who followed were shouting, Baruch haba Bashem, Hosanna, Barak is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Blessed is the kingdom of our father David. Why? Because David just said, he said, my son, he gonna sit on the throne. Go to the colt. Go get the donkey, and he gonna sit on it. And and they gonna chant. And he gonna sit on his throne. What do you think, Yahushua? You think the people ain't mad? You think the scribes and the Pharisees and the governors and the rulers of Jerusalem ain't mad, upset right now? The man just said he gonna sit on the throne. Because they that are exalted among you, he said you're gonna be abased. Who is Yahushua abasing right now? Those who try to take the throne with Adonijah. And those were the scribes and the Pharisees and the priests that were eating with him. And this is Yahushua with his disciples, or you mean with Bashaba, Benaniah, son of Yahuyada, and Nathan, and the colt, and his son Shalom. This is all them. This is all them together. And they're doing this. And what do you think is happening? It says that the kingdom of our father David, Hosanna in the highest. And he entered Jerusalem. So what do you think the people doing? You don't enter Jerusalem with this? Who you think you is? Who does this person think you don't enter Jerusalem with this? Think about it. You don't enter Jerusalem where they stone people to death. They kill people. Men and women. And it says, and he entered Jerusalem and went into the temple. And he went into the temple and did it. And when he had looked around at everything, as it was already late, he went outside of Bethany with his 12. He said, I did all of that. He said, why would he do that? All right, going back to 1 Kings chapter, this is the last two things, 1 Kings chapter 5, no, 1 Kings chapter 1. 1 Kings chapter 1. First Kings chapter 1. First Kings chapter 1, go to verse 34. And it says, and let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet Nabi there anoint him king over Yasharal. That's why the woman came with an alabaster box and poured it on his head in the house. Well, why should she do that? And it says, and then blow the trumpet and say, long live King Shalom. Barak is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. You shall then come up after him, and he shall come and sit on my throne. He said, who sits on the throne of the house of David. And it says, and he shall be king in my place. He was saying, why he did that? Because Yahushua was king. But guess what happened? And I appointed him ruler over Yasharal and Yehuda. And Benaiah, the son of Yahuiada, answered the king, Amen. Amen. May Yahuwah, the Elohim of my master, long live the king. The Elohim of my master, the king, say so. As Yahuwah hath been with my master, the king, even so may he be with Shalom. And may his throne greater than the throne of the master, King David. He said, what makes Yahushua's throne so great? Throne so great. His throne is higher than David's throne. He's higher than David's throne, David's throne. Who reigned over Yasharal and Yehuda? He said, Yahushua ruled, he higher. Why do you think Yahushua was higher and lifted up other people? And they said, you believe the Malach of Yehuda, come down. You believe the Malach of Yasharal, come down. It says, so the priest and Nathan the Nabi and Benaiah the son of Yahuiada and the Kerethites and the Perizzites went down and had Shalom ride on the king David's mule and brought him to Gihon. There Zadok and the priest took the horn of oil from the tent and anointed Shalom. Then they blew Teruah, and all the people said, long live King Shalom, Malach Shalom. And all the people went up after him, playing on pipes and rejoicing with great joy, so that the earth was split by their noise. He said the whole earth shook. He said they're going to be a great and powerful people, such as there never was since man was on the face of the earth. He said before them the earth quakes. What do you think going to happen? That's when Yahushua hit. He said Yahushua is sitting on the throne. He said when he come back, the earth going to quake. And Adoniah and all the guests who were with him heard it as they finished feasting. They heard it. Everybody heard it. All the people who were eating with him thought that he was exalted. He was all exalted in his mind. He thought he was the king, thought he was somebody. He riding on horses. Even today, people think they're the king, think they're the Malach. He's like, man, look at this person. They all exalted in mind, thinking they somebody. And guess what happened? And Adoniah and all the guests who were with him heard it, and all heard it as they were feasting. And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, what does this uproar in the city mean? What does this mean? While he was still speaking, behold, Jonathan, the son of Abiathar, the priest, came, and Adoniah said, come in, for you are a worthy man to bring good news. And amazingly, when Yahushua said, for judgment I've come into the world, that they see may become blind, that they may see. But those, being that you say you see, he said your guilt remain. Your guilt remain. And get what it says. And Adoniah said, come in, for you are a worthy man to bring good news. And Jonathan answered Adoniah, no, for our master King David has made Shalom a king. And the king has sent with him Zadok the priest, and Nathan the Nabi, and Benaiah the son of Yahuiada, and the Kerethites and the Perizzites. So he still thought he had some power. He's like, come in, you worthy to come in. He's like, man, you ain't no king. You ain't the Malach. Jonathan like, man, you ain't the Malach. And guess what happened? And they had him ride on the king's mule. And Zadok the priest and Nathan the Nabi had anointed him king of Gihon. And they have gone up from their rejoicing, so that the city is in the uproar. This is the noise that you have heard. And Shalom sits on the royal throne. Moreover, the king's servants came to congratulate our master, King David, saying, may Yahuwah make the name Shalom more famous than yours, and make his throne greater than your throne. And the king bowed himself on his bed. And the king also said, Barak be Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yasharal, who has granted someone to sit on my throne this day. My own eyes have seen it. Your own eyes have seen it. Why do you think Yahushua said, I couldn't open the eyes of the blind? Because I couldn't see it before. But now I can see it. Because being that you say you see, he said your guilt remains. Why do you think Adoniah was guilty? He said, my own eyes have seen it. Then all the guests in Adoniah trembled and rose. That's what's going to happen when you start seeing your son Yahushua sitting on the throne. He said, I saw my master sitting there. I heard my master say to my master, sit here at my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. And they all trembled and rose and went in his own way. Everybody left. And Aydah feared Shalom. Why? Because you ain't the king. You exalted yourself. You done exalted yourself above Yahushua Mashiach. So what's going to happen to you? So he arose and went and took hold of the horns of the altar. Then it was told Shalom, behold, Aydah fears the king Shalom. For behold, he has laid hold of the horns of the altar, saying, let the king swear to me first that he will not what? Put his servant to death with the sword. People saying, you sure you want to exalt yourself against Yahushua Mashiach? He said, how can we exalt ourselves against Yahushua Mashiach? And Shalom said, if he will not show himself a worthy man, not one of his hairs shall fall to the earth. But if his wickedness is found in him, he shall die. So what do you think? He said, what comes out of the person defiles the person. And if your wickedness is found inside of you, when Yahushua come back in, it says, so the king Shalom sent, and they brought him down from the altar. And he came and paid homage to the king Shalom. And Shalom said to him, go to your house. Right, this is the last thing. This is the last thing. This is the book of, where we at? Sorry. This is the book of, I think it's 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians, no, 2 Corinthians chapter 10. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. I think that's it. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse. Verse 10 and 3. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war against the flesh, because you crucified the flesh and its behaviors. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, our weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds, things that hold you captive. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of Yahuwah. Why do you think, he said, why do you think Aydah was exalted in mind? And he said, he fears the king now. He said, but he got to show himself a worthy person. And it says, divine power, and destroys all argument and every lofty opinion, or exalts itself against the knowledge of Yahuwah, and takes every thought captive to obey Mashiach. He means the king, Yahushua. He changed his thought real quick. He's like, he the king now. Aydah was like, he the king now. He changed his thought real quick. He had to obey Mashiach. Go to your house. Go back to your house. Why? Because I prepared I prepared a house for the Kabod of Yahuwah, for the son. Go to your house. You know what it says? And it says, being ready to put every disobedience, because you know what disobedience does? It brings suffering and it brings disorder in your body. When your obedience is fulfilled, or your obedience is complete. So you got to be obedient to destroy all your suffering and your disorder in your body. And get what it said? Verse 7 says, look at what is before your eyes, because your eyes are now open now, because your 7 eyes are now healed, and you can see. Get what it says? If anyone is confident that he is Mashiach's, that you will belong to him, let him remind himself that just as he is Mashiach, so also are we. So are we. Because a lot of people think that it's only them. He's like, so are we. For even if I boast a little too much of our authority, which the master gave for the building you up and not for destroying you, I will not be ashamed. He said, I will not be ashamed. I do not want to appear to be frightening you with my letters, for they say his letters are weighty and strong, but his bodily appearance is weak, and his speech of no account. Look at him. We don't pay no attention to his words. But here's what he said. Let such a person understand that what we say by letter, when absent, we do, he said, we do when present. Not that we dare to classify or compare ourselves with some of those who are commending themselves, but when they measure themselves by one another and compare themselves with one another, they are without understanding. Right? So this part of my mind, this is the last thing. This is the book of Psalms 23. Psalms 23 and 1. It says, Yahuwah is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his own name's sake. And that's what a father does. Why do you think Enoch was telling that to his sons? Because he was doing it for his name. And why do you think David put Shalom on his throne? Because he was doing it for his name's sake. Even though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, why do you think David was at the point of death? He said, walk. I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me, all the days of my life. He's mean goodness and mercy. That's one of the fruits of the world. He said, goodness and mercy gonna follow me all the days of my life. He said, as Yahuwah has forgiven you, you must forgive as Yahuwah has forgiven you. You gotta be abundant, he said, abundantly abounding in steadfast love and forgiveness and mercy. He said, all the days of my life, and I shall dwell, where? In the house of Yahuwah forever. He said, eternal, he said, may your king live forever. That's what he said, that's what Bathsheba said to David. Whom she committed adultery with, whom got rebuked by Nathan, whom she had a child named Shalomah, and then Shalomah ended up rebuking Aydah, and he ended up sitting on the throne. And they all still interacting with each other. And he said, what? May your king live forever. May the king live forever. May the king live forever. All right, so one more thing. All right, so this is where is that at? This is Ode Shalom. Odes of Solomon. Odes of Solomon. This is Odes of Solomon. Odes of Shalom. Ode Shalom. Ode Shalom. Actually, two more. Actually, yeah. Ode Shalom. Ode Shalom 12 and 5. That's say 12:1. It says, he has filled me with the words of truth, that I may proclaim him. And like the flowing waters, truth flows from my mouth, and my lips declare his fruits. And he has caused his knowledge to abound in me, because the mouth of Yahuwah is the true word, and the door of his light. The Most High, Yahuwah, has given him to his generations, which are the interpreters of his beauty, the narrators of his kabod, his glory, because the glory of Yahuwah filled the Mishkan. And the cloud, when the cloud moved, when the time the cloud rose up by day or by night, he's like, everybody moved. His beauty, his narrators of his kabod, the confessors of his thoughts. He said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. Even as the highest Shemayim is to the earth, so are my ways from your ways. And the preachers of his mind, the teachers of his works, for the subtlety of the word is inexpressible. And like his expression, so also is his swiftness and his acuteness, for limitless is his paths, because all his ways are unsearchable. It says, he never falls, but remains standing. Why do you think everybody hit the ground? When they came into King David, they hit the ground, bowed his feet. Nathan, Bathsheba, Yahuyada. When they came to get Yahusha secretly to bound the animal and kill the human being, guess what happened? They hit the ground. Everybody was at his feet. He remained standing. He said, everybody else, he's still up. And he said, he cannot know, and one cannot know his descent or his way. For as his work is, so is his expectation. For he is the light and the dawning of thought. Right? He is the dawning of thought. Right? So this is Psalms, this is the last thing, 46. Psalms 46. Psalm 46 and 5. Psalm 46 and 1. Psalms 46 and 1. And it says, Yahuwah is our refuge and strength, a very present help in the time of trouble. Why do you think David said he delivered me from all of my, adversity? Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way. Though the earth gets knocked off its pillars and gets tossed up like a drunkard, as Yeshayahu 13 says. Though the mountains be removed into the heart of the sea, though the Amunah is starting to be manifest in the earth, and things start to get cast into the midst of the sea, once people start to wake up. And it says right here, though its waters roar and foam, though the earth is quaking, the waves and the winds are roaring, because of Malachi getting ready to loose the four winds of the four corners of the earth, just like Luke Uriah 21 says. And guess what happens? And men's hearts fell in for fear that's getting ready to come on the earth. Though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble and its swelling, Selah, there is a river. He said he'd be like a tree planted by rivers of living water. He said there is a river whose streams make glad the city of Elohim, whose rivers. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of Elohim. What do you mean, whose streams? How many channels are you going to smite it into? 7 channels. He said, man, you're going to be, he told Asenath, he told the 7 birds, you're going to be 7 pillars in the city of refuge. Because, they don't, in the song of Elohim, God, they said that he's going to treat the daughters of Eve lightly, and he's going to cause her to leave the earth. Why do you think Hanuk was taken from the earth when they saw him going up? But he told them what to walk in. He said, walk in your affliction. Walk in your distress. Walk in faithfulness. He said, walk in it. And guess what he says? And it says, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble and its swelling, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of Elohim. He said, you're going to be 7 pillars of river refuge. He said, 7 streams, 7 channels, so 7 cogs. He said, Pasat, Kagmatsa, Bakur. He said, first fruit. He said, waving the sheaf. He said, Kag Chabur, Teruah, Kafar, Sukkah. He said, they're going to make glad the city of Yahuwah, of Elohim, the Kudash habitation of the Most High. Yahuwah is in the midst of her, and he shall not be moved. He said, I'm in the midst of you, which means if he inside of you, he said, his light is shining inside of you. His light, his oil is on the inside of the human being's heart. He said, I'm going to be in the midst of them. And what happens after that? In the Kodash habitation of the Most High, and Elohim is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. He's like, she ain't going to be moved. Why? Elohim will help her when? When the morning dawns. What do you mean when the morning dawns? Because he's a dawning of thought. He said, I'm going to help you when the morning dawns. When it rises. Guess what it says? The nations rage and the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice and the earth melts. Yahuwah, nobody can hide from the heat. The Yahuwah of hosts is with us. The Elohim Yaakov is our fortress. Verse 8 says, come, behold the works of Yahuwah, how he has brought desolation on the earth. He makes war cease to end of the earth. And he breaks the bow and shatters the spear. And he burns the chariots with fire. Guess what he tells you after that? Be still. And know that I am Elohim. And I will exalt. And I will be exalted among the nations. And I will be exalted in the earth. Yahuwah of hosts is with us. The Elohim Yaakov is our fortress. So we look at all that. Look at the dawning of thought. Look at Yahushua Mashiach. Look at until the day dawn and the day star rise in your heart. Because you prepared a tent for the sun, a hall for the sun, that one may be illuminated within oneself, and to know that the King of righteousness, the King of peace, commands us to walk in love. For he's bounding in steadfast love, and he made us with love. Right? And he will destroy the earth with love to those who don't love him. But he still loves you. For this life is short, but the next life is not short. For we live in this world and we are not of it. And we walk in truth and we walk in the shalom and peace that's to come. Knowing that the things to come is a life eternal, forever and ever. This life is just a passing through. As you pass through this life, you experience the ups and downs and all the things that come with it. But then at the same time, he said, continue to halak. For the righteous as a shining light, shining more and more unto the perfect day. Right, so I'm going to end with this. This is 2nd Enoch. Just popped in my mind. 2nd Enoch. 2nd Enoch. Second Enoch. This is chapter, where we at? Second Enoch, chapter 66. Actually, no. 2nd Enoch, that's not it. Yeah. 2nd Enoch, chapter 63. 2nd Enoch, chapter 63, Pseudepigrapha, volume 1. Pseudepigrapha, volume 1. A person, when he clothes the naked and gives his bread to the hungry, then he will obtain a reward from Elohim Yahuwah. If his heart should murmur, it is twofold evil that he creates for himself. Right, so we look at ourselves and we look at our own individual selves, and we look at everything that we create within ourselves. And we look at the things that one must remove within ourselves. And we be honest with ourselves. And it says, it is a loss that he creates in respect to that which he gives. So if one gives and then one murmurs, then guess what? Then guess what happens? It's taken away. You create a loss. Like I just invested in something, then I take a loss by murmuring. Right? And it says, and he will not have any obtaining of remuneration because of it. And it says, and the poor man, when his heart is satisfied of his body, is clothed, and he performs an act of contempt, then he will ruin all his endurance of poverty. He's saying, so you can be poor and still get something, and then you do something that's not good in Yahuwah's sight. He said, you ruin all your endurance, all the poverty that you endured. And he will not obtain a reward for his good deeds, even if you poor. For Yahuwah detests every kind of contemptuous person, and every person who makes himself out to be great. That's what happens. Why? Because I got the word, I heard it, I received it, then I start to murmur. I'm poor, I did this, I clothed myself, but then I start doing evil stuff. Then he said, man, you endured all that poverty for nothing. You just wasted your time. And he says, and every unfruitful word stimulated by injustice, and it will be cut out with the blade of the sword of death. It says, and thrown into the fire, and it will burn, and this cutting out has no healing unto eternity. And now you see why David, Yahuwah, Bathsheba, and Nathan were all still interacting with each other. They were still talking to each other. They were still communicating with each other because they understood we can't be doing certain things, even though we all did wrong, but we still can't do certain things. They understood that. Why do you think he said, "O King, live forever"? Because she knew that he repented. But Shaba knew. She already knew. Right, going to the next over, this is the last thing. But that's it. But anyway, but at the same time, as we move forward in this 364-day cycle, as we get closer to the first day of the 7th month, I said the day of remembrance, and then moving out of this cycle into the next portal. We look at ourselves and look at being created in the image and likeness of Yahuwah, because Yahuwah made man good. He made us in the fruits of the Ruach, and he made us in his image and likeness. And you should walk according to how he made you, and not according to how you make your own self. For the potter makes the clay, and molds the clay, not the clay does to the potter. For we live in this world, we are not of it. But at the same time, we live in this world, we don't abuse ourselves of things that we live in this world. And whether we're poor or rich, we seek not to do anything evil in Yahuwah's sight, lest we suffer loss. Because either you'll suffer loss from not even all your adversity and enduring, or you just suffer loss in your possessions and things that you own. But Yahuwah Elohim is no respecter of persons, whether male or female, husband, father, judge, governor, and mallet, a person or part higher in a general assembly, a mayor, a governor. Doesn't matter who you are, a title person. It doesn't matter. For we all walk in this world, and we live here, and we breathe the air. And we should walk according to his commands, and his love, and his compassion, and his mercy toward every person. Everybody won't receive his mercy and his graciousness. But he's, just like we read in the book of Psalms, he's patiently waiting for you, so he can abundantly pardon you for all your sins and things that you've done in your life from birth to present, or those things you're continually doing, and those things that are showing up in your life from the seeds that you never dealt with, and the work that still has to be done. For everything that's happening, it happens for a reason. And we should understand that he's going to beautify the humble and the meek with salvation. And these people who do this thing, who humble themselves under the mighty hand of Yahuwah, that he may exalt you in due time, and not exalt oneself against the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach, and put yourself above the King Yahushua Mashiach. For the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth.